Hello and welcome to a Toyota Corolla, but you probably knew that because it says that in the YouTube title. But this isn't just any Toyota Corolla, it's the brand new one. And I'm incredibly confused by this car because it is so interesting. I mean, just look at this thing. It's not overly designed like a Lexus, but I think it uses the right sort of creases and angles to create a luxury and quite sporty feel. It's got interesting lines on its flanks, and the headlight arrangement, I mean, I'd even describe it as exciting. I'm so confused. It seems though if you want a plain looking sedan, you're going to have to look elsewhere. Now I know sometimes you watch car reviews and the person driving, the journalist, is just waxing lyrical about how amazing the car is that they're driving. And unfortunately, this is going to be one of those reviews. I've spent a week with this car now, and the only thing that annoys me a little bit, it's not that annoying, but it is a bit annoying, is the gearbox. CVT gearboxes have come a long way. They're very boring, it's very technical. Essentially, the car has no gears, so it creates this sort of droning effect. So I'll sort of imitate it for you when you're going up a hill. But you're doing like 40, 50, 60 k's an hour and the engine's just going. That's exactly what it sounds like. A little bit annoying. But all CVTs do that, not just Toyota. Anyway, it's not actually that bad. If you're in a bit of a hurry, it can become a bit annoying, but you've even got flappy pedals. Haha, a Corolla with flappy pedals. What is going on here? And then it's sort of got these electronic kind of gear ratios, so it sort of tricks the gearbox into thinking it's got some gears and you can flick through like that. See, there we go. That's actually quite good. I do not know what has gotten into Toyota. This is such a nice interior. It's lovely in here. There's contrast stitching on the steering wheel and the dashboard. A real highlight for me are these seats. They're partial cloth and partial leather, but it's the design, the execution, the way the backrest blends into the headrest. It's a lovely seat, very comfy, very supportive. Almost sporty. They're almost sporty seats. I think Toyota's trying to give us a bit of a clue about something. But the rest of it's very smart. Piano black detailing over here. Look at the leather up on the dash. And as I was saying when I was driving the car, they've really thrown the kitchen sink in here. So you've got cruise control, lane keep assist, there's push button start, electric windows all round, electric mirrors, automatic headlights, automatic windscreen wipers. The driver's seat is electric. There are two USB ports, one over here and one in the center bin. And there's a really useful little storage area over here for, sunglasses and keys, that sort of thing. Two drinks holders over here, electric handbrake, so no handbrake turns in your mom's car, you youths. And then an 8-inch screen up on the dashboard here, which is pretty hard to miss. In other markets, there's CarPlay and Android Auto, but unfortunately, we won't get that in SA, although some people at Toyota tell me that it's coming. But I don't believe them because when I drove the Corolla Hatch, it was coming then and it's still not here. That was last year. But other than that, this is a particularly good interior. The engine that's sending some power through this gearbox to the front wheels is a 2-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder petrol burner. Uses petrol to create forward motion. That's you might have picked that up already, and it's actually pretty powerful. 125 kilowatts, 200 newton meters of torques, and that is roughly the same amount of power and torque that you get in the new RAV4. Now, when I drove the RAV4, I thought to myself, goodness me, this thing is gutless. So, you're not looking for sort of 4x4 towing power here. This is just a lightweight sedan. So this thing's actually quite quick. You see, I told you it was interesting. It's a Corolla that's fast and it looks good. Toyota have gone mad. But this car's peak power outputs are at 6,600 RPM. So if you really want to get in a hurry, you have to put your foot completely flat. But the CVT box does a good job of using that torque to get you off the line. I'm actually pretty impressed by this drivetrain. It's definitely worth knowing what other cars this car competes with. There is the Honda Civic, which is a really good car, but it is unfortunately quite a bit more expensive than the Corolla. The Hyundai Elantra is not on sale anymore in South Africa, which is quite a pity, so that pretty much leaves the Mazda 3 sedan. And if you spend the same sort of money, you only get a 1.5 litre in that car with about 40% less power than the Toyota Corolla. So if you want the fastest car in the segment, you have to buy a Corolla. Alrighty, the boot scene. So here we go. You press that button on the key and it pops up. Very exciting. And this is a sort of a bugbear of mine when it comes to boots and South Africans, because a lot of people believe that sedans and station wagons are not as practical as SUVs, and that is completely wrong. Don't at me. And I'm going to illustrate why. So I'm going to take this piece of film equipment and show you how deep the boot of this Toyota Corolla is. Look at that. It just disappears into there. And if that's not long enough for you, then the seats fall down in a 60-40 split, but there's no way of releasing them from in here. So you have to go all the way to the side of the car. What a faff. Anyway, there's a sort of button up here which you got to fiddle with. There we go. And then, I mean, that's massive. You can get absolutely anything in there. So Toyota says this is 470 liters, which is quite a bit bigger than the Mazda 3 boot. They say 430 liters for that. But if you compare it to something like, say, a Volkswagen Tiguan, which is 520 liters, that's not that far off. And obviously you don't get the same height as you would get in an SUV. So you don't get that packing height, but that is a particularly useful boot. And good news, there is a spare wheel, but it's a skinny little thing and not a full-sized wheel and tire. But that does ensure that the boot space isn't compromised. So I started this video off being a bit facetious. Toyota have built an interesting car, haha, lol. But I mean, the thing is, the last few generations of Corolla were as exciting as dishwater. And this is the thing. Corollas have always actually been quite exciting. Remember the Sprinter, remember the RXi, remember the RunX, remember the Corolla AE86. I mean, that thing is like a freaking cult legend in the drifting world, and that was a Corolla. So actually this is Toyota kind of finding their roots again, finding their feet again in terms of building an exciting sedan. And I actually think that at least the hatchback version of the Corolla is going to get at least a sport treatment, or if not a GRMN treatment. And so you get the feeling that they designed the chassis with that in mind. But of course, you're interested in a sedan that you're just going to go to the shops in and, you know, do the school run. So you don't care if it's sporty or not. But in every other way, I can really recommend this car. However, for the privilege of driving an exciting and very well-made Toyota, you'll have to spend quite a lot of money, more than 400,000 Rand, actually, 433,000 to be precise, for this particular top spec XR 2-litre auto model. And that is quite a lot of money for a Toyota Corolla. But in saying that, I think this is one of those instances where you get what you pay for. I think the price is justified here. This is a particularly good car, and I think Toyota almost had to try and not make it too good so that you wouldn't buy a Lexus, you know, because they still have to sell Lexuses. In summary, I would like to quote my esteemed colleague Hannes Oosthuizen, who has been in this industry for probably longer than I've been alive. And I asked him about the Corolla, this new one, and he said, quality product. I mean, how much more do you need than that? You know, what else do you need to know? The new Corolla sedan range starts at 380,000 Rand, and that will get you the 1.8 litre manual model. Our pick would be the 2 litre variants, however. We found this engine to be quite efficient too, averaging 7.9 to the 100 during our testing of mostly town driving. If you'd like to know more about the Corolla hatch, you'll find a link to our review of that car at the end of this video. Did you know that we also sell really awesome car-themed merchandise? Check out our range of custom t-shirts and prints at our online store now. Simply click on the square box on your screen and we'll take you there, or the link is in the description below. Thanks for watching.